So the Boruto anime is having another change. Now, you know, when we last talked about the Boruto anime in particular, there were a couple of concerns that were raised as far as, if you guys know, because I talked about it with the Black Clover stuff as well. Studio that helped out with Boruto and Black Clover called Studio Drop went bankrupt, and we saw recently, it wasn't too long ago, that Boruto went through a time slot change from Wednesdays to Thursdays. It's kind of just been a little bit shaky with Boruto now. We did get a really awesomely animated episode. I won't take anything away from the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki episode. That was one of the best fights I've seen all year. The way it was choreographed and everything. Granted, it was stemming from some source material, you know, the movie already did it, whatever, but even the redesign, everything about it was really awesome. But of course, you know, Boruto, it has inconsistencies, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely regarding the art and animation. For the most part, it never really gets horrible. It never looks like, oh my god, I can't watch this. It just looks standard to sometimes it can be really awesome. The problem with Boruto has always been, in a sense, the anime at the very least, the material itself, the storylines, where it feels like this is filler, or it even sometimes feels like these kids aren't the most interesting to build on them, and sometimes it just feels like, so that's been the problem with Boruto. But now we're getting yet again another change, fresh off of the whole controversy of, you know, the studio that went bankrupt and what's going on with Black Clover, a lot of different things or whatever. Things have been kind of progressing forward in a positive way, but this again just makes me question, is it a good move or a bad move what they're about to do with the Boruto anime? Now again, you know, they switched it from Wednesdays to Thursdays. I want to say it was earlier this year. I could be wrong, to be honest with you. It's been a bit, but I know that they definitely changed the time slot probably a few months ago. Now, once again, they are changing the time slot for the Boruto anime and the day of the Boruto anime. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in Japan, it'll be coming out on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. So I'm imagining we'll get it possibly 5 a.m. on Sundays, somewhere around there. So we'll be getting the Boruto anime on the weekends now. There's a couple of things that you have to question. Exactly why would they make this move? Is it because the Boruto anime is in trouble, or is it because they believe in the Boruto anime? Because they're also changing the time slot and date half an hour before or after Boruto for the Pokemon anime. Now, we could joke all day, Pokemon is a very huge property. They handle that very delicately because they know it's a huge promo for the next video game that they're gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, never get it twisted. Pokemon is a huge title. So if Pokemon is also moving, it's a possibility that they're trying to build and they're trying to compete with some of the other stuff that comes out on Sunday mornings, because again, them doing this is possibly their idea of a power hour, so to speak. We know with Toei Animation, which I'm not sure exactly who broadcasts the Toei Animation stuff or whatever, but they've had for the longest time, they'll do the power hour of Dragon Ball and One Piece, and they had the One Piece Toriko hour and stuff like that. So they try to do different things to help promote these things and make it like a big deal in an event. In their press release, which we'll read the whole thing or whatever so that I don't misquote or whatnot, but essentially their reasoning behind this is to allow families to watch this together, because it'll be on the weekends, no work, no school, and families can kind of just go together. Honestly, that seems like a very, you know, industry published, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem like an actual reason, like, hey, it'll get better ratings, hey, it wasn't doing that good, hey, we want to compete with the other giants that are coming on at that time. We don't get an exact reason. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, families, which, don't get me wrong, that's a cool thing. Hey, you know, now families can sit back, and when the little ones is watching Pokemon, they could kind of bond together, or Boruto, which their whole thing with Boruto, and they've tried different strategies, is they want Boruto to essentially obtain a new audience. It kind of makes me look at it a little bit twisted in a way, because at the end of the day, like, you have a ginormous audience already with the old Naruto fans. Now granted, maybe you want to sell toys and you want to sell products for underage children or whatever. You want to sell, you know, toys and action figures and stuff like that. And you feel as though the older audience that grew up with Naruto, that are adults now, you don't necessarily want them just because they're not going to go buy the silly stuff. Although anime culture nowadays, you know, we buy also, I mean, look behind me, damn it. But not everyone is like me, of course. You know, not everybody is a crazy collector and likes to buy all this stuff. I get it, but that's probably one of their main prerogatives. And since it didn't work on Wednesdays and it didn't work on Thursdays, which that was prime time, which again, it makes me question things of like, you're taking Boruto and Pokemon, but Boruto, you know, that's the main discussion of this one, and you're taking it off a prime time slot, which, in case you guys don't know, prime time slots are the reason why Dragon Ball is where it is today. Aside from the fact that Dragon Ball, and I know you're probably like, well, but aside from the fact that Dragon Ball is an incredible story, fun and all that stuff, having anime back in the day in the States on TV when you come home from school at 4 or 5 o'clock and having that Toonami broadcast or whatever, biggest thing in the world. That's what put a lot of people on, and that's how Dragon Ball catapulted into what it ultimately became, and how we're how many years deep into this whole thing, and we're still, Dragon Ball is huge. Naruto came in towards the end. That was the end of that Toonami run where Naruto really took over, whatever. That's how these things catapulted. So you're taking that, you know, you're taking Boruto off of that and putting it on the weekends. It's still a good thing in a sense because, hey, you know, I grew up on the Kids WB Saturday mornings. I used to wake up early so I could watch all the Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and everything that they had on there. So it could work as well. It's just, again, I'm wondering where's the strategy. I don't think, honestly, that this has to do with anything really negative. Again, if they're putting Pokemon alongside with it, that means that they're just trying to do something to make these things bigger and possibly get a bigger audience for Boruto. The kiddos that they don't like to wake up early, or maybe they're missing it on the weekdays or whatever. Now they could, on the weekends, it's like, oh, I get up and, you know, I get to watch this in the afternoon with my family and stuff like that before school, you know, the next day or whatever. I guess that's their mindset. I want to say, we're going to read the press release again here in a second, but it's just kind of a little bit of an interesting thing that, you know, Boruto has had 2 time changes in the same year, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the bankrupt studio, now they're pairing it up with Pokemon to do this Power Hour. Definitely telling that there's something with Boruto. Either they really want to make it even bigger, or it's seen a certain amount of success and they feel as though it'll thrive even further on a weekend basis, or possibly a little bit of trouble in paradise and this is their remedy. Or it could be, again, that they just want to compete. There's a lot of big anime blocks at that time period, and maybe they're feeling like, yo, we could compete. We have Pokemon is huge, you know, Naruto fan base is huge, we could get more kids. So yeah, let's read. TV Tokyo announced on Thursday that the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime and the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime will both change time slots to a new 1-hour anime block that will air on Sundays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. starting on October 7th. Boruto Naruto Next Generations will move from airing on Thursdays at 7:25 p.m. to airing on Sundays at 5:30. So it was a Thursday afternoon thing in Japan. Of course, we would get it in the morning time. And Pokemon Sun and Moon will change from airing on Thursdays at 6:55 p.m. to airing on Sundays at 6 p.m. A spokesperson for the channel said that the change is so that families can relax on a day off and watch the shows together. Of course, the Boruto anime premiered in Japan on TV Tokyo in April 2017 and originally aired on Wednesdays. The anime moved to Thursdays in May. So yeah, it's been a couple months since the change, which that is interesting. 2 date and time changes within the same year. It's kind of telling that there's something there. I don't know if it's a negative or a positive. I want to lean more towards positive. There's been so much negativity. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, this is their way to make Boruto blow up even further. Sunday afternoon, nobody got work, everybody's kind of winding down, just chilling out in front of the TV, about to have dinner, relaxing. Maybe that's what their whole idea and mindset is. And again, if you can get a lot of those Pokemon fans, because Pokemon always has a brand new fan base. Almost every few years, it's like a bunch of new kids get into it, whatever. You get those same kids into Boruto, then maybe their mission of getting Boruto a brand new fan base of kids can be succeeded. But I don't know, kind of curious what you guys think about all this. Honestly, the Boruto anime past few episodes, I do want to do a video in the future, near future, talking about this arc in particular, because it's actually started to get really interesting and really good with this whole Mitsuki pulling a Sasuke type of situation. I like it. I like it. I think Boruto's doing some awesome things. We'll get in depth on it in another video though. What do you guys think? Is it that Boruto is doing bad and that's why they're changing the time again? Is it that they want to compete? Is it that it's doing good and they feel on Sundays it'll do even better and be more successful? Or, you know, just your raw thoughts on this. It is, again, I know I've said this quite a few times, but it's telling. 2 time changes, 2 time slot changes, 2 date changes in 1 year. Curious what's happening with Boruto. I mean, the manga is still on fire, and I'm excited about the manga and what's to come in the anime. Only time will tell what's going to happen. Hopefully Boruto can survive, because Naruto didn't have this many time changes. I think from the original to Shippuden, we had like what, 1 or 2 time changes, I want to say. It was like it started off on Thursdays, then it went to Wednesdays, something like that. There was a time change here or there, but nothing like what's happening with Boruto, especially this early on. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit the bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, they're in the description below. Links and all. I'm FNEVWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.
Making major moves, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, cream stack. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. But now it's whatever, one day I'll be your favorite, but never.